had got so many signs. Like, it was hard for me to believe that I deserve good things. I deserve to be successful. I thought of every reason why I wasn't good enough. The smallest conversation can change somebody's life.
And if you haven't felt like this, only been days but it felt like months. Wake up for you, you like once. Like who fast and do what you want.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to my channel. If y'all don't know, my name is Nick. I'm a self-made
entrepreneur.
And I have my own boutique. I work with Medicaid and I do some different things with that. So, as y'all can tell by the title, in this video, I will be telling y'all not really like how I started my business, but why I started my business. Y'all, I had got so many signs. Like, when I say it's crazy, like, it's crazy. I had just started getting so many signs, y'all, that just pushed me towards entrepreneurship. So I was like, man, it gotta be other people out here that's going through that. So I definitely wanted to share my experience with you guys and just let you know like some different things that I went through. So if you have like a spiritual connection, you may understand like what I'm saying. And even if you don't, you guys may have experienced issues or scenarios where you would just get like this spiritual feeling and you like, I don't know, y'all, like it's really unexplainable. But anyway, I started my business in 2019. That's when I really got it registered and stuff like that. And y'all, that's right when COVID had started. I didn't launch online until like a year later. But anyway, y'all, since I was like in elementary school, I always been creative. Like, I always knew how to draw and paint. Like, I used to love art, and I really thought that I was gonna be an artist. Like, when I was in 5th grade, I was drawing my entire class. Like, I'm talking about not sick people, like real people, you know what I'm saying? So I've been drawing forever, but when I got to high school, I just felt like I wasn't going to make a lot of money doing art. Now today, with it being 2024, like that's definitely not true. We have social media, so we have a large platform where we can just put out content, put out our work, and just like express ourselves. I'm an 80s baby, so I'm like right in the middle, so I know how it is to not have social media and to just like get out here in the streets, baby, and you know, push your name out. So I'm that kind of 80s baby. Like, I was before the cell phone and after, so I know how life is with both. But when I was in like middle and high school, I'm like, I can't make a lot of money with that. But now, you know, you can record your videos, post them on different platforms and get like some shit views, whatever. But you know, I just felt like I couldn't get no money with it, so I tried nursing. And y'all, when I went to nursing school, like I was on my externships before I gave it up, because I was like 18 or 19, and I was basically hanging with the wrong crowd. So I had caught a charge when I was like 18. I got convicted at 19. Y'all, when I say my life has started to be so fucking hard, like I didn't realize at that age how much a felony would affect my life. I didn't realize that. So, you know, I just knew I didn't want to go to jail. So whatever my court-appointed lawyer told me to do at the time, that's what I did. But that's a whole nother story. If y'all want, you know, details on that, I can kind of go into detail, because just because you fuck up at a young age, like, do not let that hinder you from trying to better your life, better your situation, and just better everything around you. Most importantly, better yourself. So I had caught that charge, and with the felony, it was fresh, so I couldn't really, like, even if I got my nursing degree, it would have been so hard for me to find a job in the nursing field. So I gave up on nursing. As life had went on, you know, I would get jobs. And one thing about me, baby, when I get a job, I keep my job because I know that having a felony on your record can hinder you from so many job positions. Like now it's a little bit easier, but it's still like hard as fuck. So it hindered me from like getting a lot of good positions where I can make more money. I kept a job, got fired a couple times, quit a couple times. Like I would say about 5 years ago, like I would say about like 5 or 6 years ago, right when I started my business, y'all, I had started to like get into insurance, like working with Medicaid and Medicare, educating people on what plans or, you know, what health insurance benefits may work better for them. So I had studied that for like a year or two, and I checked with like my state, because when you're getting like your Medicare or Medicaid license, you have to pass the state exam, and then you have to go through the insurance bureau to get your MPN number. I'm in the state of Virginia. It's definitely different depending on where you guys reside, but for me, I had to go through a different process when it came to obtaining my MPN number. So y'all, let me tell y'all how crazy God worked. Like, this shit's so crazy. Okay, so I studied for 2 years, right, to take my state exam. Y'all, I failed my state exam like 5 times. And the position that I was applying for, they paid for it the first 2 times, but anytime after that, you know, you had to pay out of pocket. So I failed it 5 times. And at this time, I'm working already with a healthcare company. So I'm already like educating people about Medicare and Medicaid. But once I obtain my license, I would make more money. So, you know, that was my main reason for staying at that job. Y'all, when I say I got the job, once I passed my state exam, I got the job. I'm talking about making the most money that I ever made in my life. Like, and I really thought that, you know, things would be different. And I knew I had a felony. And before I even did all that, I checked with the job and I did some research, and it did say that, you know, even if you have a felony, you still can obtain your MPN number. So I did the research. So y'all don't think that I just did it and you know, I knew I had a felony, and, you know, don't think that I just did it when I knew I wasn't going to get a position. Because before I even took my state exam, I asked the job, you know, I even called downtown to ask the people, like, you know, I have a felony, so will that affect me obtaining my license for Medicare? Will it affect me getting my MPN number? And they was like, it's based on, you know, it's like a case-by-case basis. At this time, y'all, my felony was like 10 years old, okay? 10 years, y'all. My felony was 10 years old. So I'm thinking I'm gonna be good. So when I'm in training, I'm seeing everybody else get their MPN number. So I'm like, what's going on, you know? So I had got a call. They was telling me I had to do like some kind of interview with the I had to do an interview with the secretary of my state. Y'all, I'm so country. Excuse my you know, my delivery. I'm gonna try to slow down so y'all can understand, because I know my accent gets a little crazy when I talk fast. So y'all, I did the interview, right? Tell me why 2 weeks later they denied me from getting my MPN number. Like, I already got the job, I already passed my state exam, you know, so I'm thinking that everything was gonna be cool. So once they denied me, like, I sent emails, I wrote letters, like, I asked you guys at the beginning, before I wasted damn near 2 years, you know, if I would be able to get my license. So anyway, y'all, long story short, like when that happened, y'all, like when I say I cried like a baby, like bitch, I cried. Like I was like so heartbroken because I know that I had worked so hard to pass the exam. I worked so hard to like study. And if you guys are in like the Medicaid and Medicare, if you guys are in that field, then you know like it's a lot of information that you have to remember. It's a lot of information that you have to retain. So it's not like, it's basically like going to school all over again. I was so heartbroken. And before this happened, every decent job that I applied for, like y'all, I would get jobs, you know, that pay good money. But every time my background came back, like I would get fired or not hired. Like it was situations where I got hired, I did my drug test, like everything came back. But once they pulled that felony up, baby, like a lot of jobs will not hire me. Like they will fire me with the quickness, okay? And I got 2 kids, bills, everything. I'm a single mom, so it was just a lot, and it was really discouraging to keep going through that. So I'm like, man, fuck that. Like I need to do something for me. Like I need to do my own little business thing. Y'all, it's so crazy how God works. I would start meeting people who were entrepreneurs and who were doing their own business, even if they weren't like really successful. Like just meeting them will like plant a seed in my mind to like, I can really do my own thing, like, and make my own money. And then I would never have to go through that shit. I would never have to think about how I'm going to pay my bills. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about getting fired and then I can't pay my rent, or just situations. Just, you know, stuff like that. I started like looking into entrepreneurship. And I would be on Instagram and I'll just be scrolling. And I seen like so many women, y'all, modeling clothes, like so many different boutiques that was just modeling clothes. Like, you know, they was the owner and they was the model. So I'm looking, and the more I'm looking at it, I'm like, that can be me. Like, if she can do it, I can do it. And I just kept that thought in my head. Like, I would go to the pages of different boutiques and, you know, people who were selling clothes, and I would kind of like study them, basically. So I kept saying it, like I kept saying it. And I was like, I can do it. At first, I just felt like I wasn't pretty enough. I felt like my body wasn't, I didn't have like the right curves. I didn't have the BBL. I didn't have the, you know, the pretty white teeth. I just felt like I wasn't good enough. And when I started to think about entrepreneurship and looking at people saying if they can do it, I know that I can do it. I started to have like negative thoughts. Like I started to be like, how can I say it? I started to think of every reason why I wouldn't succeed. I thought of every reason why I wasn't good enough. And, you know, but some in me, like, I had to keep thinking positive. So what I would do, I would listen to, like, motivational speeches every single day. Every time I had a negative thought, I would listen to motivational speeches. Steve Harvey, T.D. Jakes, Eric Thomas, Dr. Miles Monroe, you know, and I just look up to a lot of these speakers because it really helped me get through that tough time where I was thinking negative and just feeling like I wasn't good enough. So y'all, I just started working on myself. I started like educating myself, and I just started to write it down. But it was crazy, y'all. every time I would like write stuff out and like break down my business ideas, like it was something in me saying that I can do this. Like if they can do it, you can do it. You have to believe in yourself. And for me, the hardest thing was believing in myself and believing that I can succeed. Believing that other people will watch me and, you know, other people will fuck with my personality when I'm not being too extra. Because I was always an introvert. I always felt like I wasn't, like I'm the friend that's always fly as fuck when we go out, but I'm always the shyest. So even though I don't have like a loud mouth, I'm not the loudest in the room, baby, I can put on an outfit and be killing every bitch up in there, okay? But I've never been conceited because I always felt like I wasn't that girl. But the moment I started believing in myself, y'all, and just writing everything out, like, I would sit with God in the morning time. I listen to like my motivational speeches. And like I tell y'all, when y'all thinking negative, like it really helps. Like I really took the time to work on my mentality, to work on my mindset, because we control our thoughts. And it took me a minute to realize that, like, even now, I still have small issues with having those negative thoughts. So when I was stressed out, like not getting all the jobs that I applied for, or, you know, my background fucking up my positions, like it's really stressful. Like it's so discouraging that when you have an issue, and my felony was a non-violent felony, but like I said, that's a whole nother video. Y'all, I would just sit in my living room, open my windows, and just like look up to the sky and like really pray. Like I spent so much time with myself and God. Like, and I know it may sound like cliche, but this is my experience. Like this is what I went through. So I would sit, y'all, on my ottoman and just look up to the sky, pray, cry, like, God, please, I need some signs, I need some doors to open, like, I need something, right? You know how, like, when you pray and sometimes you, like, hear a voice in your head, or you just, you know, you get this saying in your head, like, out the blue, but it be your own voice, right? So it's like, is it me talking to myself, or is this voice that I'm hearing, is this a message coming from God? And y'all, when I say, like, the first message that I got was believe in yourself. It's possible for you. And like when the message came across, y'all, my fucking hairs on my arms just started standing up. And I knew that it was a spiritual feeling. Like, it's a feeling that you can't even describe. Like, if you guys have felt it, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, I don't know, I can't explain it. It's like food to your soul. It's like, you know, it feels like an out-of-body experience, but it's only for a few seconds. But y'all, I got the feeling then, right? And then I would start working on my business. I would write out, like, I made a plan. I didn't know how I was going to start. I didn't know, you know, what to do, but I researched everything. I studied other people that was doing it. I got more active on YouTube and Instagram. And I'm like, you know, I had to believe that I can do it. But every time I would talk to somebody about, like, business stuff, like, y'all, I would get these signs. Like, I just wish I can explain it better so that you guys can understand. Every time I get a sign, or, like, I get, like, this voice in my head telling me that I'm going to have to go through it to, you know, to get to the next level. The fucking hairs on my arms, y'all, just stand up. And it's a beautiful feeling, but it's kind of scary because it's like, it gotta be a sign from God. Like, when I used to get the feeling, it's like, you know, it's coming from a higher power. It's like, I know I'm not tripping. Like, this shit gotta be for me. So, boom. Started the business. COVID had just started. Everything was shutting down. I was furloughed from my job that I was at for like 4 years. You know, they had the unemployment, baby, so I had signed up for that, was getting the $800 a week. I used every dime to invest in my business, to buy inventory, to set up my website. And for me, the easiest thing for me to do to save money was learn how to do stuff on my own. So I researched how to set up my website, get my EIN, get my tax ID, get my reseller's permit, get my business registered with the state. You know, just all the different steps. And I honestly wrote it down. Like, I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all how important it is to write this stuff down. I wrote every step down. When I looked for my EIN, or when I signed up for my DMB number and all of that, I would just research how to do it. So I wrote everything down, right? So now when I go back in my book, everything checked off. A lot of people always say that you need so much money to start a business, but depending on what business you want to start, you don't really need no money. I mean, it is $100 to like get it registered with the state, but y'all cannot let that stop y'all from moving forward, okay? Like, do what you can with what you have. Knowledge is free. And that's what I had to learn. Like, even though I didn't have the funds to back inventory and all of that at the beginning, I educated myself. You know, I researched how to do shit. So when I got the money, you know, I can get right to it. So this is the book, y'all. And y'all see, I got my business taxes thing right here from when I did that. I wrote everything out because y'all know how people always tell us to, like, write your vision and make it plain. Like, we always heard it, right? But sometimes we don't believe in it. But y'all, this is what helped me believe in it. Because I had so many ideas jumbled up in my head. Like, my mind was just racing and just like going crazy, right? So I write it down. I started with my business names, you know, different ideas I had for that. Decide which market I want to target. Check on the LLC name to make sure it's available. Different websites that I had looked into. Registered name, EIN, apply for sales tax permit. Like, y'all, I really just wrote everything out. My goals for the business. I love looking at this book because when you write everything out, my domain registration, different sites that I can get like inventory and wholesale items for, my business bank account, get a P.O. box for returns. Like, all of this was written before I even registered my business. Like, I just started writing shit down. So now when I look at this book, I can see everything that I checked off. Everything that I checked off. And drop shipping, I tried to look into that. Build email list. Like, all of this stuff is before I even had my business registered. Labels, different labels. Do it. Believe in myself. It's okay to make mistakes. Take a leap of faith. Y'all, with me looking at this book, I get so fucking emotional because it just faith over fear. The same thing I got on my head right now. It just make me so emotional because trust the process. Think like the person you intend to become. Break the cycle for your kids, younger generation. It just made me so emotional because it brings me back to a point where I didn't really think that I would be successful. Like, it brings me back to the beginning. And like, even now with me reading this, y'all, think like, act like, become like. I'll never be broke again. I deserve good things. And I wrote down these statements because it was hard for me to believe it. It was hard for me to believe that I deserve good things. I deserve to be successful. Now, of course, all of us want that, but it's a difference from wanting it and believing it. So what's crazy is, y'all, right where I stopped writing in my book is where I got stuck at in life. It's where I got stuck at in my business. Like, I didn't know what was next. And one day I had went to this book and I was talking to somebody. And I was looking, I was like, damn, this crazy. I was like, right where I stopped writing is where I got stuck at in life, y'all. And it just humbled me so quickly. And I knew that it was just signs from God, like, this is what you need to do. Write your vision, make it plain. Yes, it sounds crazy. Yes, it sounds cliche. But I'm like proof that, y'all, I'm proof that it has to be written out. Because when I looked at my book and realized where I stopped at, after I checked everything off, I started to get stuck, like, in my business. I didn't know what was next. I didn't know what to do. I felt like it was never going to work. But let me tell y'all, I had people reach out to me on Facebook and Instagram after just posting shit. Like, I would make stuff and I would just post it, right? Like, I do so much. I make clothes, I sew, HTV heat press. You know, I made legal documents. I do hair, braids, wigs, quick weaves, install lace fronts, retwist dreads. You know, I took a makeup class. I be doing makeup here and there. I tried tattooing. Like, I don't give myself enough credit for all of this shit that I know how to do. Like, I even work on my truck sometimes. I done changed my throttle body, changed tires, my oil, you know. And I did all of this stuff at the time to save money because I didn't really have a lot of money. But me not having a lot of money taught me so much. It taught me to research. You never know what you can't do until you try. So it taught me to research and to, like, if I see something like now and I see something, like, I know whether I can do it or not. When I made my first prom dress for my niece, I was so scared. Like, I didn't think that I can do it. I'm like, man, I'm spending all this money, $200. I don't want to fuck the fabric up. But my brother, y'all, my oldest brother, like, he really believed in me. He was like, I know you can do it. And y'all, I ordered the fabric, made the dress, and I was so proud of myself. Like, even though it wasn't perfect, like, it looked good on her. When I finished the dress, like, it looked better than people that have been sewing for years. Let me get back to the subject, y'all. I'm getting off topic. I'm sorry. I don't know why I do that. People started reaching out to me from Facebook and Instagram. And they was just telling me that watching you do your videos just inspired me to start my business. One of my close friends that I grew up with, she was like, you inspired me to start my business. She got her own little yarny business. You know, and it's just multiple people, like people that I don't even know, like, was reaching out to me, telling me that me sharing my work had inspired them. And it's crazy because every time somebody reached out to me, it was during a time that I really needed it. It was during a time where I felt overwhelmed or felt like I wasn't gonna get to the next level. But it was them people, and thank y'all so much. Like, I always tell people, the smallest conversation can change somebody's life. And every time somebody told me that, like, it really made me go at it harder, because I'm realizing that it's not just for me. Like, other people watching my story can get inspired. Like, I'm a diamond in the fucking rough, y'all. I'm from the projects, okay? Even though I don't really act ratchet or I'm not really loud or, you know, super ghetto, it's like I have a mix of professionalism and ratchetness. But I'm like right in the middle. So I know how to control it, but I still have like my ratchet side. But like when people would reach out to me and tell me that I motivated them and they just see so much in me that I didn't even see in myself. It's just like a beautiful feeling. The people I don't know see more in me than I see in myself. So I had to woosah, and I had to like keep going. Like, and don't get me wrong, like even now I still have them days where I'm like, I know I'm not giving up, okay? Because giving up is not an option, period. Like, I don't care if I'm gonna be working or trying until I die, baby. Giving up is not an option. So this shit gotta work. But I just wanted to share with you guys like the different signs, like the different signs that pushed me to be my own boss. And the main one was not getting the jobs that I wanted, not making the money that I wanted. And it's crazy because now that I look back, I understand everything I went through. I was thinking like, why is God having me go through this with the people closest to me? Like, and all of this shit, y'all, was back to back to back. So it was a lot for me. Like, I was so stressed out. Like, I'm talking about God removed everybody from my circle. If I wasn't at my aunt's house on the weekend, I was at my cousin's house, my friend's house. Like, I was at one of these people's houses, right? God just removed it. And for years, y'all, I used to like really cry because I look at myself in the mirror for like different situations. I always look in the mirror like, you know, I admit to when I'm wrong. I apologize because growing up, my aunts and shit, they felt like apologies weren't needed to children, and it is, okay? So I always apologize when I'm wrong. But the situations that happened with the closest people in my life was out of my control. And, you know, I might do a video on that like later on, but it's real emotional for me. By God making that situation happen, and I used to pray like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, why would this happen? Why would you take the people closest to me and like turn them against me? In that moment, y'all, I started to focus more on myself. I started to focus more on my business, bettering myself, bettering my mental. And looking back 6 years later, like, I realized that I needed that to focus on myself, because had that not happened with my aunt, who was my second mom, my first cousin, my best friend, my baby daddy, my aunts, you know, had that not happened, I wouldn't have had the time to focus on myself, to write out my goals, and to execute on my goals. And they say that God works in mysterious ways, but that was just next level. Like, that was a sign that was like next level, y'all. For him to remove the people closest to me in the hurtful way that he did, it just helped me, y'all, to focus on myself more.